Thumbs up. I see him.
Oh, there it is.
I know,
I
right?
had to jump.
He still gave us 2. Hello, everyone. Not So Tender podcast number 30. Pretty monumental for us right now. We only have one small king in the control room tonight. Mike is not feeling well, so everybody please send him some happiness. So he's not feeling well.
Prayers, love, thoughts.
Number 30.
30-30.
It's kind of crazy, right?
That's nuts.
It's pretty good. We're moving along. How's your week, Kelly? On this fine President's Day.
Well, it was Valentine's Day this week.
When?
Wednesday, I believe.
Mm.
I didn't have to. I volunteered at my daughter's school.
What day?
Wednesday.
What holiday?
Valentine's Day.
Doesn't ring a fucking bell.
They allow parents to come in on Halloween and Valentine's Day. Like that's like moms come in and run it, which was nice because the teacher was like, this is the first time that moms have just come in and like done the shit.
Really?
Yeah. And like when my older boys were young, like that's what I did is one got Halloween, one got Valentine. They were in the same school at the same time. And so it's like you each get one. So my daughter was over the moon.
Happy.
We made slime at home, took slime in like little containers and they got to like
Jello
add.
shots?
Yeah. Yes. Like Jello shot. Big Jello shot. But they got to like add charms and styrofoam and like mix it into something fun. So they had a lot of fun. So personally, it was a lot of fun. Professionally, it was hard. I've quite a few people who are having a hard time because they're not where they thought they would be. It kind of ties together like the new year, new me with like,
oops.
Yeah,
whoops.
Like this didn't go the way I thought, or like
not quite as on track as I thought.
Yeah,
I was.
I'm not. And they're like trying to scrap it, and I'm like, whoa! Like
I did a fuck ton of tattoos.
I believe. How has your week been? I can only imagine.
I just tattooed. I'm so tired. Always.
Positive things, mean things, combination. Did you get couples? Do you get couples for Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Truth be told,
I did a couple tattoos.
My husband and I came to you on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that is true.
Years ago.
No, I did couple tattoos on a cute couple. It was kind of crazy. They did couple tattoos. Well, here's what's crazy. They came in to get tattooed, and their friends come in, which I know. And he walked outside, and I was like, oh, we must have to take a call or something. We were done with their tattoo. And they got each other's initials.
We did not do that. Just like,
well,
no judgment, but we didn't.
Right.
We got 2 different tattoos on Valentine's Day.
So here's what's crazy. Then he goes, hey, blah, blah, blah. Can you come outside? I want to talk to you. You know, she's like,
the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she walks out and they go, he's going to ask her to be his girlfriend. And I was like, wait a minute. What? I for real was just like, and I didn't like, I'm just going to be very frank. I didn't give a fuck about that day. I was in a horrible fucking mood. So I was like this, what? The fuck you, what? You get your initials on a girl that isn't your girlfriend yet? It was super cute. He had flowers and it says, will you be my girlfriend on it?
Thomas.
Swear to God.
Their initials.
But
we're already on their person.
But they've been seeing each other for like a year.
So that means
he never committed.
That means they were talking.
Yes, I don't know.
I'm telling you,
I don't
this
know.
is the vernacular now. They were talking until that day, and now they're dating.
Do they talk with their private parts?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah. Send us a text. Send us pictures of your ex's tattoos. 234-200-5949.
Thomas, I have to ask. Has anybody in your life ever got a tattoo of you, for you, in remembrance of you?
I've never been that important in someone's life.
I've had one.
See, everyone's been that important except for me.
My best friend has had 2.
I bet.
With her name. I've never had a name.
I've never.
Oh, I guess I've had 2. I've had 2, including my husband.
I've never been that cool.
It felt special with my husband.
I don't think it would feel special with a tattoo artist.
No, with my ex-boyfriend, who in his sleeve, he got like written in between things. He did it himself.
Oh, he's crafty.
I love you. And he used to send me pictures all the time. This is for you. But it was a ploy. It was a pawn. You know, like, yeah.
Totally worked.
I can't believe you're doing this to me. And I was like, you should cover that up.
Jeez, Kelly Savage.
It doesn't even have my name on it.
I love Valentine's Day. moons ago. I don't love it
In a
so
past
much.
life.
I don't fucking know, dude. I know this. Crumble cookies are really good.
Yeah.
And they're about 1,000 calories per cookie.
Yep.
So I had to do a lot of push-ups.
Did you buy yourself crumble cookies?
I did.
Mm-hmm.
They're really good. Yeah, fuck that day. Fuck it in the neck.
It's a stupid day.
No, it's a beautiful day. And I think if you
It's-
love somebody, it gives you more of a reason to celebrate it. And I love it. And I really do. I'm just joking about fuck it. But like for me personally, not the highlight of my year so far.
It's month 2. It's not a good start.
It's okay. We don't have any majors for a while. So we're
That's
good.
true. That's why also
I got
people are kind of
another-
in a slump.
I have another like 3 months before I hit another obstacle.
Important to you.
Yeah.
What's the next one that's important to you? Is it a birthday?
No.
Anniversary?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a doozy.
That's a hard one.
That brings me to our topic.
Oh, fuck.
Because Valentine's Day was this week, everybody,
Yep,
and
look.
pretty consistently. Oh, you have red on it. I'm blue.
Mhm.
Blue as blue can be. Y'all depressed the fuck out of me.
Oh,
so I'm
shit.
just wearing blue. So pretty consistently, the last week or two. So now that we've been in February, so since February,
Yeah.
people are getting caught up in like their own timeline that they've put against themselves. Why aren't I over this yet? Why can't I get over this?
Yeah.
And Valentine's Day threw some people on the rocks.
It should.
Like,
Well, it's a reminder. You're alone.
it's a reminder. And I guess I have very mixed feelings about Valentine's Day because even when I'm happy and engaged in a
I thought you were gonna
committed
say if I'm
relationship, even when I am, I'm torn because I don't need anything, but like it would be nice.
No,
You know, like,
dude, I love it.
yeah, he tells me happy Valentine's Day in the morning. My daughter and I went to the grocery store that day.
Yeah.
And she was like, what did you get for Andrew? And I was like, actually, we're going to pick something up today before he comes home.
Yeah.
And she was like, what's he getting you? And I was like, I don't know. And like, had he not got me anything, I would have felt some type of way.
We should.
But also, I don't need anything like
But it's Valentine's Day.
a card,
A car.
a card
Car.
with a D, a card.
Car with a D in it.
Well, that would have gone a long way.
Just saying. You wouldn't have hated that either.
Wouldn't have hated that.
You're like,
either.
new car and some sex?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love Valentine's
My
Day.
expectations for holidays are pretty low as long as there's effort given consistently.
Oh,
That's more like,
Kelly, you're also a reasonable human.
that's true. So
Anybody who does it, who bucks Valentine's Day when they're with somebody, like if you're,
You're an
dating
asshole.
somebody,
that like
you're an asshole.
you're an asshole. You're a whole asshole. If you're like America made Valentine's Day, like
Yeah.
those people,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
They made every holiday.
Every single one. My kids were home today. Do you know why?
Yeah, well, that's a real holiday. At least that's a measurable one. That's a celebrates
Do you
part
know-
of our heritage.
Do you know that my 5 children did not know why they were off today?
Well, I can't speak for the school systems.
Right, but like
Right.
if you're gonna give time off, there is at least some like
We always did
back
President's
play
Day
that
stuff.
needs
Are
to
you
like come
kidding me?
on.
We
Come-
always did that.
My elementary school kids were like, it's something about. My older kids are like, I don't know.
Well,
I just
they've
knew that we were
learned
off.
it. They forgot it. They did learn it.
Because they don't care.
Well, no. Why would you care?
They
Monday's
just
off.
get time off.
Banks closed.
And me, I'm like, if you all motherfuckers don't go back to school, you
Yeah.
could learn about this
I
in
worked
school
all
today.
day, so
Same.
my kid gave my dog a bath.
Valentine's Day though, sweetest day. I don't even know
like
because
that
we
one
have
better.
listeners all over the world.
I like
so
that
like
one better.
sweetest day is actually super specific to like the Northeast. Like
Yeah.
yes, right here.
I like it.
You like that one better?
I like them both.
Why?
Because it's a reason that you can just go. Listen, some guys
You're
aren't good.
You're such a sweetheart.
I try.
That's why.
Well, some guys they can't because of the way they're raised or whatever.
Mhm.
They can't just go on a Wednesday. Go. I'm gonna give my wife flowers. They just have to have some little nudge.
A reminder.
And some
of
guys
some
only
sort.
get laid twice a year. So guess what? Fair.
Bless your heart. Bless your
Is
heart.
that fair?
Men.
So if girls are like mad at their dude and they're willing to like break down the walls, right? Uh-oh.
It's so true.
I hit a nerve.
It is. If I talk about sex all day, every day. All day, every day.
Ew. You know what has been a conversation recently with my friends? Swingers. Man, you want to talk about opening some shit up?
I talk
Sweet
about that a
Jesus.
lot. I talk about that a lot. I have a few individuals who are in couples, part of a relationship, we'll say, that has come up a lot.
Yeah.
That I'm like, let's talk about it. Let's feel it out. What does that mean to you? What does that look like?
It really makes some people angry to even talk about it.
Oh,
And I'm just sitting there like
Lord.
this. Like, I don't care what people are doing.
My one individual told me the other day, she's like, I feel very strongly that either you are into it from the get or you're not. It is part of like your personality type.
Mm.
And so she's like,
You think?
I don't disagree.
I don't know.
I didn't either, but I really started to ponder that, like
Yeah.
clinically. And the people who are in relationships that are open to that have in some ways always been so. Whether that be
Okay, so I can say this.
Hmm.
The few couples that I've talked to about it, they came from, not all of them, but a couple of them came from super controlling relationships.
Mm.
Like their relationship prior to that was so controlling that it feels like they're like drawing
It's
a
almost like
hard line.
opposite.
Yes. Like,
Okay.
Like I'm not only going to just do what I want to do, but I'm going to do exactly what the fuck I want to do whenever the fuck I
Oh.
want to do it.
See, that hasn't been my experience.
Hard knee jerk.
My experience has been couples who have, for example, like an individual with like gender identification issues.
Mm.
So they're kind of ambiguous or indifferent. There's a difference there.
Yeah,
like
that's a whole nother.
that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Or have like sexual preference confusion, we'll say. Like, again, either
Right.
indifference or ambiguity. And or there's been like infidelity or there's been porn usage in their relationship or like something that has always been there a little bit.
Well, the one person talked about that the couple that they hung out with were together since they were 16. They were together and they took
God,
like a
that's
test,
young.
but they took
Yeah.
a test and found out
The
that,
test?
oh, you were, yeah, or something similar. I'm
Sure,
going to
yeah.
assume, I mean, I'm really reaching for what the exact facts are, but
Sure.
I'm assuming they took like a kink test and that we talked about before. And when they compared each other's answers, they found out things about each other. They're like, oh, I didn't know you
You
were in that.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a rare, super healthy result.
Yeah. No, my
'Cause the other
husband,
ones-
because this is what we do for a living, right? This is part
Yeah.
of our career.
Practice.
Yeah, our practice. My husband and I have had conversations about like, well, how would you feel if I felt this way or if you felt this way? It's healthy to have these conversations.
Well, my one friend goes, you're telling me if you're with a girl and she was like, hey, I think I want to bang 5 guys at one time.
Sure.
And I go, she goes, well, what would your reaction be? And I go, well, there's a lot of variables to that.
Correct. That's not like,
No, I go, is our sex life healthy?
Yeah.
Like I'm doing this as a
really
a
like
guy
for
who's
real.
not in a relationship, a guy who is trying to think as openly and kindly as I can to not
Mhm.
knee jerk.
Mhm.
And I go,
As maturely and open minded. Yeah.
I go, is our relationship healthy? Are we having sex on the regular? Are we open? I would go, where
Did I know that this was even a thing?
where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Is there something that
voyeurism, double penetration.
we're just airtight? We
Is
looked
it-
through all the results of all this stuff, and
Yes.
they were reading swinger terminology.
Uh-huh. Listen, I Google shit on a regular basis. I've told you,
Dude,
I'm
that
probably
terminology
on a list. I'm
is
on a list.
crazy. Dude, a dragon, a
I don't know
unicorn.
what a dragon or a unicorn is.
I'll fill you in later.
One of my clients the
We'll
other
do
day was
another show
like,
on
my
that.
boyfriend asked me if I was feeling toppy. And I was like, I
You
know
know what
that
that
one.
is, yeah.
I know that one.
Yeah. So we need
We found out what rigor was together the other day.
yeah.
That was the one that was into ropes, right?
Yeah,
into
with the
tying
roper,
people
not
versus
the
the
ropey.
rope bunny.
You ever look at the hanky code for gay guys?
No.
Oh, it's next level. Like depending on what color hanky you wear in your pocket.
Ugh.
Listen.
Oh,
you-
like actual hanky color.
yeah, like a bandana. Yeah. So
Like
do you know what I
gang
love?
colors.
I'm starting to love about swingers and gay people.
They're unspoken code.
They are direct of what they are looking
true.
for.
That's
If
true.
straight people started walking around with hankies like, this is what the fuck I'm into. Don't fucking talk to me if you're not into what. Look, it's right there.
Well, but so here's the thing. My one client, her and her husband started going to a sex club.
Right. Is that like,
We could call it a swingers club, but like it's not entirely that. It's more specifically for couples. They have like individual nights where like women can come or men can come, but they have bracelets
yeah,
that are either red because you are here as a
Off
couple.
limits.
You have to come as a couple,
yeah.
period, unless it's one of those like extra nights. You are here to view or to engage with each other, period. And
That's
they
what-
are welcome. Like that is okay. There are so many resources here within this facility.
Yeah, it's like a library.
Yeah, that's okay. Here you go.
Yeah.
There's yellow that like we are
Curious.
open and curious.
Approach with caution.
Right. And then there's green that like we've been here before. Like we're totally fine. If you would
All
like,
X is open.
if you
No
would
wait.
like a resource, we are a resource
Yeah.
because we are experienced and open to having those conversations and those experiences.
Well, imagine if that was like that in a dance club downtown, and people respected it.
Thomas,
Imagine.
you are a little bit older than me.
Yeah.
And when I talk to the younger generation about the clubs, I'm like, you guys have no idea what it used to be, where you could just go
And dance.
and everyone danced.
And maybe two guys would come up drunk. And,
Maybe.
And they would kind of listen.
Yes.
And you go.
And your
"No,
friends
thank
had a
you."
coat. Yeah. And you like turn them away or your friends spun you around and they respected that and they didn't talk shit and they didn't call you names and they
Yeah.
were appropriately on this side and like,
Is it worse now?
yeah,
I don't hang
Yes.
out those places.
they don't dance. It's rapey by theme is what I've been told. I haven't been to a club in a really long time, but
Yeah.
it's not the same.
Yeah.
The
That's
age,
why
there's a
straight girls
huge
go to
age
gay
gap.
clubs to go dance.
Age gap 40 50 something 20 something. There's a creep factor, there's a predator factor
It's
that
always
like
been that, but yeah.
but it was
Reasonable.
the ratio was smaller
Well, there was more girls.
and there was more younger guys who
Yeah.
just respected what you said.
The young guys don't want to go do that.
No,
Last thing you want to do is go get shot down in person.
I know.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
All right.
Like, okay.
Enough about. So you've been talking about sex and swingers.
Sex and swingers. I talk about sex all the time. All the time. If it doesn't come up, I'm to the point now where I bring it up because I'm like, we got to talk. Like, if you're in a relationship, how's your sex life?
Yeah.
And sometimes people are like, oh, well, not great. I'm like, oh, okay, let's
Yeah.
talk about that. Why don't you like to have sex with your partner?
I don't have one.
What? I know, but like, I have men who are like, I would love to have sex with my partner. I don't know how to win.
Oh.
I shoot my shot. They shoot me down. I try to do all XYZ. It's like fucking playing offense constantly, just trying to like,
Wears you down.
yeah, it's exhausting.
It
And
does.
if you're at all sensitive, which all humans are at some point on some level,
Most of the time.
it feels shitty. It
Even
gets to
the
a
meanest.
point. Yes, it gets to a point where they're like, fuck you. I feel like shit.
Even the nicest of people.
Yes. The nicest. I have a couple really nice, sensitive men on my caseload. And I'm like,
Yeah.
bring your wife in here because I just kind of want to like tell her.
I want to hear the truth. I want to hear her side.
I want to hear her side. And I want to tell you both to like, it, my humanness comes out and like grow up. Do you know
Yeah.
how many people wish they had what you guys had? Hundreds.
Well,
They're
you
on
grew-
my caseload.
Listen, if you grew up in a mansion and you had a butler and you had a wonderful nanny and you had all those wonderful things, you think that shit's normal. And then you take it for granted. And you're like, this place is fucking prison. And you're like, listen, motherfucker. You know? Right.
You have somebody who loves you.
You have food.
The bottom line, lots of people want to fuck. The bottom line is at the end of the day, when you're in a committed relationship, they really do want to just make love to you.
Yeah.
That the
Or just feel
connection
close to you.
is important. They want to snuggle you. They want to pet you.
They
They
wanna
want to
rig you.
like, they want to tie you up from the ceiling. And like,
Yeah.
is that wrong?
Jesus.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's not, it at base level, it kind of boils down to something more intimate. And I wish that more people understood that because
Everybody's living a lie.
people are not just horn dogs.
They're living a lie.
At the end of the day, they're
No,
really
horn dogs are
not.
always horn dogs. And listen, horn dogs don't take no for an answer.
Well, and horn dogs are in marriages that haven't had sex in 3 years.
Dude, I had a couple in today, And she was talking about her dad, and her mom and dad got divorced when they were 30.
Hmm.
And he's always
I
had
was 30.
he's
Yeah.
always had an extra girlfriend, basically. I go,
Since the beginning of time.
she goes, he's just a Southern boy from West Virginia, and he just loves ladies. You know, I go, was he good to your mama? And she goes, yeah.
I bet.
I go, took care of everything in the house. She goes,
Yep.
yeah, loved her.
Yep.
He goes, he just
Because
always
he knew better.
He always
And
just
also,
he always had an extra. And she goes, my mom. He goes, he always said he was out at wing night with the dudes. I said, yeah, he was messing with a hen, all right. But she goes, and I realized when I was older, when my mom was driving us around, now I realize why she was driving us around. She's trying to
Giving him
find his
time?
ass.
Oh, I thought giving him time to finish. I was like, that's a really gracious woman.
I don't think that was the case.
Like, there's a car in the drive, babes. We gotta take a lap. Let's go to
Take a
Kroger
lap.
quick.
Let's go. The Bueller's real quick.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting. But she goes, my dad was a good guy. It just, I was like, fuck, man.
He just had a weakness, which was other women. Lots of people do. So that's kind like, we
Yeah.
are now in February, and I have the same people who were breaking up and hooking up back in December and January are now dealing with their choices in February. Either they're in a relationship that they probably shouldn't be in.
Shit came to roost.
Or they're feeling lonely because now it's February. The weather sucks. Still sucks.
Pretty nice today.
There's snow melting still. I don't know about your yard, but my yard still has snow
was
that
20.
my Frenchies want to go eat
It's
every
21
time I let them
degrees,
out.
yeah.
And nothing. Now that Valentine's Day is over, what's St. Patty's Day?
That's a good one, though.
Everybody just goes
That's
and
a
gets
good
drunk.
One. Get
and
blackout drunk and get her so mad at you, she'll leave you.
then they end up here and they're like, I met somebody. And
They'll
I'm
end
like,
up
oh
pregnant.
no. For like kegs and eggs? Stop.
Those are the good girls.
No.
Good old Irish
No.
girl. Likes to go hard all day. Takes it off, makes it a special day.
She can drink you under the table. Guys, come on. Come on. Come on.
I'd
come
be
on, come
worried.
on. No.
I'm not bragging, but I haven't had a girl do that. And if I ever did, I would run so fucking far away. I'm trying to not drink
tried.
at all.
I haven't drank since last Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah.
What's Wednesday?
Like,
I'm just kidding.
I was like, that's not even true.
I know. That's good.
Since I came back from Aruba.
How was that?
It was fun.
She went away.
I went away. I was part of a
That's
wedding.
why we weren't here. That's awesome. I saw some
it was a
pictures.
good
You
time.
looked like you had fun.
It was a good time. And then I came back and I was like, whoo,
Yeah, it was cold.
woo.
Yeah. Shit got
I
real.
just want to like snuggle up.
Yeah.
Wrap myself in some shit.
A
Okay.
burrito.
We have a topic.
Today's topic.
How to move on, ladies and gentlemen and others. How to move the fuck on. Because I talk about this all day, every day.
Do you?
All day, every day. People are sad and it's okay. I had a 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. I had 5 clients this morning. 4. 4 of the 5 were having some sort of like, how do I get over this thing that happened? 3 of the 5 were, how do I get over this person that happened? It's an issue. And I am so genuinely, clinically exhausted, not in a bad way, of like validating people that like, it's okay that you're not over it yet. I don't even know what that would look like.
Well,
You're not even the first person. I tell my clients all the time, you're not even the first person to cry today. And if you are, it's because you're my 930. I have 8 more clients
all gonna
backing
cry.
you up. You are not the first or the last. You're never both. It's okay.
Yeah.
It is okay to be sad. It is okay to have issues. And now that we're in February, so many people have started therapy and they're like, in mid-February, they're like, why am I still having a hard time with this? Why aren't I over this yet? And I'm like, because it's been 7 weeks. And they're like, that's a long time. And I was like, for your whole,
7 weeks is a long time to be in the hole in prison.
that's fair.
Okay.
But for these people who had constructed their entire future with a person,
Yeah.
7 weeks compared to 7 months or 7 years or so, like, that is
it's
not
even relative.
very, like, I don't even understand why we're worried about
You can't
time.
measure it.
You can't. And everybody's constantly like, how do I move on? How do I move on? And so today I texted Thomas, I texted you and I was like, we got to talk about this.
And I said, "Oh, I love this. This is my
He
favorite
said,
thing."
I'm an expert and I love moving on from people. Let me help the general
What was my
public.
real answer?
I have
Joey?
no fucking clue how to do this, and you're going to have to take the lead. So here we are, everybody. I look through site after site after site. Thomas and I look like I'm probably going to construct something after
there's
this.
some funny ones that talk about how
Fuck all the people in the world.
how to not break up with people.
No.
That was a good list, by the way.
No. I would like to be helpful. I think generally speaking, we are helpful. We got lots of emails, lots of text
100%.
message, lots of feedback.
100%.
But this is something that people really do struggle with that
Well, can I explain why?
please do, because I have my own opinions, but go ahead.
You want to go first? You can go first. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. I think that this is the one time. So when people are in relationships, they get distracted from like the outside world, right? And so they put their all into this person. And when this person ends, they go back to their natural support system. And like personally, I have a very special person in my life who's going through a very important breakup and she is having a hard time. And she's like, you're the only person I can talk to because all these other bitches, she loves them to death. But they're just like, I hate him. He's a loser. Blah, blah. And she's like, that's not helpful. That is not that doesn't help me move on. That makes me feel stupid, if I'm being honest. So when people shift from inside to outside, I feel like there's a harsh reality and everybody finally waiting to put their input in. And it makes moving on difficult because all the other people are doing is telling them all the shitty things. It's my opinion.
Okay.
Your turn, go.
And your turn. I will say that people, if you don't want reactions like that, this is why the other shows we had spoke about it. If you talk negative about your dude all the time, people are going to avoid you and your dude or your girl or whoever, your mate. Sorry. Well, I was just talking about that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes, they're going to say he's an asshole because every time you talk to them, it's when he's being
You're
an
bitching.
asshole.
Right. You're
Okay.
bitching. You're complaining.
So I will tell you this. Even when you have a breakup with someone who is not an asshole, who is a good person,
Mhm.
who is the best person, you've ever been around, people still, because they're so ingrained to make you feel better about you,
Mm-hmm.
they will skew it because they think they're helping. Well, they don't know what they lost.
yeah,
Yes, they
right.
do.
Yeah.
And what are you
No.
basing that on?
But people do. They want to be your cheerleader.
Yes.
If you broke up, it would be in my innate organic self to be like, Thomas, you'll be happier. Things work out. Things happen for a reason.
All that dumb shit. Thank God you didn't do that to me because
I did not. I was like, oh, that fucking
No.
sucks. Are you good?
Because you knew. No.
Yes.
It's
I know.
Because you knew my situation wasn't a horrible one.
No. In
So-
most situations, people who are my clinical experience, people who are in therapy, most of them are not in a horrible situation. The reason they're here with me is because they're like, hey, I know this. I see this. I'm trying to work this out. I'm trying to navigate it. I'm trying
Not give up on it.
how do I do this? They're not coming. They are coming. So I felt very strongly that in this season of my clinical work, like a couple healthy steps, or at least a general idea of like, these are things that we can
A
do.
loose outline.
Yes. To move forward, because I can't tell you how many times in the last couple weeks I've heard like, when the fuck am I going to be better? When am I going to stop missing them?
Just tell them
When-
right now. Right
we
now. You're done.
we can.
You're done.
You're welcome.
What does that mean? What does that look like to you?
It takes time. It takes time. And so many websites that I looked at said like, it's so cliche, but it takes time. You have to grieve.
Tell them what old Appalachian men would tell them.
What is that?
Best way to get over somebody is to get on top of someone else.
Oh my God. Don't do that. That's literally in the numbers, people.
Just saying.
in the steps.
Distractions.
Don't move on too fast.
So let's start. So this is with the slippery slope. So here's what's funny. You said that when you're in a relationship, you're so detached and distracted by every, because you're so focused on your
Happens so
relationship.
often, yeah.
Well, think about that. Say that out loud. That is a
Unhealthy.
codependency.
Yep.
That is everything. That is why relationships are so hard. Is because you literally
Lean on
give
them.
everything to them like a cult.
We'll say 90-80% is
Like a
like the
cult.
healthy. Yeah.
Like a cult. Because that's what you do to a cult. You give everything to them.
That's true.
Is that fair?
That's true.
And how would it feel to leave a cult? You'd feel abandoned. You'd feel like your eternity is
sure.
wrecked.
Sure.
So I don't know what they don't understand. I've taken this last year to really break shit down. You know this. We talk about this.
I know.
So if you look at it, people like a relationship is a micro Orthodox religion.
That's true.
So to leave an Orthodox
Today,
religion.
actually, that came up twice.
Just
Roman
saying.
Orthodox.
Just saying. So it's not easy because you set yourself up for failure. You rely on this human so much that literally you can't breathe without them.
It's so gross. And nothing brings me more joy. So I right now have 2 individuals that I'm meeting that are part of a couple.
Yeah.
And we're starting this way, right? Like I'm going to meet with you and I'm going to meet with you and we're going to make sure we're on the same page. And then as you guys heal, we'll move into group.
So you have a red bracelet on right now?
They have a red bracelet on right now. And today I spent the entire 2 hours. I actually met with both of them back to back just because that's how our schedule worked for the day.
Yeah.
And partner A said, hey, she's experiencing some jealousy and I'm having a hard time. I don't understand because my boundaries are so clear. She actually partner A drew on a paper plate because that's all she had. We're over here, you and me, hard boundary, rest of the world. And I'm trying to figure out my relationships, like friendships and like how to have like casual relationships now that I feel safe and I'm like branching. I don't know how. It's hard. It's hard as a lesbian to make relationships with females that look this way because she's more masculine in nature.
Okay.
Partner B is like, I have friends. We've already done the flip side of this, right? Like I have friends at work that she doesn't know. She's not a jealous person, but here we go. Step 2 is now she's making friends and she's like, I am so fucking triggered. Like I'm embarrassed. Like didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
Didn't even know I had this button.
Here it is.
She said, she's like, I think she's beautiful and phenomenal and I could sing her praises. And I am so scared for other people to see that and appreciate it. And then what? And I was like, that's so true. That's so common. But I said, I was like, how awesome, like hypothetically, how awesome would it be if you could be your true authentic self in the world and she could also be her true authentic self in the world and you guys were just appreciated individually and in whatever capacity and you still came home to each other at the end of the day.
People can't do that.
She came to tears.
People are so afraid of loss.
And she did. She came to tears and she's like because they both are very self-aware. Like they are beautiful humans. They really are.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want nothing more than that. And I was like, so the flip side though is that she moves on. And what would that mean?
Right.
That somebody else can appreciate her in a different way. Like you crumble and fall to the floor?
Yes. Yeah.
Dude,
it makes no sense.
That's not true. That's not true.
I know, but it makes no sense to people.
She is in her 40s. You'll be just fine. Your life will not end. She will be a part of your life that is beautiful and painful, but also beautiful. And that's where like this comes in.
But you squeeze them so hard they pop out of your hand.
They're gonna pop. She's beautiful, just like you are. As a holistic.
Don't buy a fancy car if you don't want people looking at it.
No. My husband's beautiful and fantastic. And I'm not saying, I shared with both of them. I'm like, I struggle in some of the same way.
Yeah.
Somebody else is going to appreciate them too much. And that scares me. But what am I supposed to do? Dim his light?
This is why I love the tism.
That's gross.
This is why I love the tism. I'm like this. Oh, hi. Nope. Didn't think about that. Let's get some ice cream.
But have you ever had a moment where you appreciated your partner so much that you were afraid that other people would see her in that same light.
No, I wouldn't date somebody that wasn't seen as a beautiful person or like didn't get attention. Not
You
that I
never
date,
felt intimidated by that?
not being an asshole.
No,
But-
sure.
Thank God for the tism.
It doesn't compute the same way.
To me, it's like factual. Oh, you're
Bright,
being with
funny,
me.
and pretty. Yeah.
You're with me. Then what? That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
You're with me. You sleep in my bed. I sleep in your bed. We go on dates. We hold hands.
You touch my private parts. I touch yours.
Yeah. So to me, because of the way my brain works.
Yeah.
And I in just this moment, I realize how thankful I am for that.
It is. Well, partner A has a flare of the tism. And as I was processing with her, she was like, you guys are fucking weird. I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, she has some, she goes by she, but really she's like, pronouns really have nothing to do with me and more to do with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't feel like either. I feel like both. Like, but she's like, conversations like this make me feel like I am not a woman because like this.
Because she was like, "What? Why are you even talking about this?"
Why? She's like, I drew it on a plate.
Is she the attractive one?
They're both attractive.
I'm not. I'm saying,
Yeah,
is she
sure.
the more feminine?
No, she is the more like feelings neutral. You
Gotcha.
and me are on this plane. The Great Wall of China is between us and everybody else. And I am very clearly stating we're untouchable.
Yeah.
These are other relationships that I have true, genuine difficulty navigating. But that difficulty has nothing to do with us. That has to do with me making genuine friendships and not knowing how to navigate the shit.
Well, it also.
And I'm coming to you as my partner saying, what the fuck?
Okay.
How do you make friends?
This conversation spirals so hard because literally, I was talking to somebody this week. It's one comment from one fucking person in your life that will change the complete path of how you fucking do things forever.
Mm-hmm.
One person says, I think it's fucking wrong for you to fucking blah, 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 blah. And they're like, turn that off. And then this one's like,
That's
what do you
she
mean?
does. Yeah,
Be careful how we talk to people.
absolutely. I have started telling people, stop talking about that in private. I'm going to need you to bring that to me because like
You can't do it.
we are too touchy right now that we need to talk about. We need to talk about that in a safe place that has been like designated as a safe place, and B, with a mediator present.
Ready?
That's me at a baseline.
This is the equivalent of what people try to do with talking about things. They're not
Mhm.
qualified. Putting together an IKEA bookshelf in a dark closet with no instructions.
Yes.
How
There's
do you
a
think?
hole. There's a screw. It'll be fine. And they argue the entire time. The entire time.
All right, first one. Let's move on because this is.
Oh my
this
God.
is
Okay.
gross.
Number one is cut off the connection from your ex. This is a doozy. Everybody loves when I say it. Like, this is a doozy. Stop fucking following them. Stop creeping. Stop calling them. Stop looking up their Facebook. Stop being friends with them on Instagram or TikTok. Delete their shit. Not in like a cruel and unusual. I get really bent out of shape when we're like, everybody, I blocked him. Like, stop. That is not
Yeah.
what we're talking
You
about.
didn't cure cancer. Calm down.
It is not healthy or helpful for you to see them on your feed. Period.
No,
Unfollow them. Unfriend them. You don't have to
don't
block
creep on them
them.
and make people stop telling you about them.
Yes. Tell your friends. I really appreciate if you would stop. I did send a screenshot this week that I was like, listen, this is like, but I called her first and I was like, this is happening. I don't want to send you a screenshot, but I feel the need to tell you. Like, there's extra
It's different.
layers.
That's different.
Right.
It's when you go out of your way, like, oh my God, did you see?
No. And I told her and she was like, will you
Don't
send
even be
me a
friends with those
screenshot?
people.
And I was like, I will not send you a screenshot. Actually, now that I didn't. I was like, I'm not going to send you. You don't need to see it. I'm just telling you, like, this is.
I dealt with that one time, and I got to the point where I literally told somebody, hey, if I was sexually abused, would you bring it up every time you saw me? And they looked at me like, what? I go, I don't know. If something traumatic happens in your life, do you want me to bring it up? If you lost a child, would you want me to bring it up every time you saw me?
No.
And they looked at me like, holy shit. I was
If
like,
your wife beat you, if your husband beat you, if your parents never fed you and you had to go steal from the corner store, like,
would you want me to bring it up every time?
no,
Okay. So I don't know if people understand that.
no.
Everyone if someone breaks up with someone, don't bring it up every time you see them. If
How
someone,
are you?
Yeah.
How are you and so
Man,
and
it's
so?
cold out, huh?
No, stop.
Yeah.
Are they good? No, they're not. Assume they're not.
Hold on. They might be having a great day, but you're getting ready to fucking ruin that.
Right.
Hey, having a good day? Let me throw this firecracker in your car.
Assume that they're not okay and don't give them some bullshit. That's the other thing. We'll get there. But like, don't say, is there anything I can do to help?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Lose my number. Fuck
Listen,
off with
the
it.
best way to move on is to bury your past and end the chapter. Not in an ignorant, like,
But there is some, hold on. If you have kids with someone, you can't do that. So that's a whole nother thing. So anybody with
that
children,
could be moving on.
this does not
2.0.
apply to you right now. You can pull some things out of this, but this is not the conversation for
2.0.
you.
We can talk about that next week, honestly,
Yeah,
because
that's a whole
not,
nother thing.
I don't
Co-parenting and
I
all
don't
that.
brag, but my ex-husband and I got something good. Your ex-wives and you, like,
You do all right.
it's
Yeah.
not flawless, but there's some tips and tricks that,
reasonable.
like,
It's fucking reasonable.
there are things that you can do to not make it fucking hellacious. Grow up.
Yeah.
All right, number 2, get rid of everything that makes you miss your ex. Thomas, this is actually a bigger one than I ever thought it would be. Let me tell you why.
It doesn't help.
Getting rid of it. So full transparency, everybody, I'm a picture person. I think you know this. Like, I have photos. I've always been a photographer. I took photography class in high school. After that moment, my theory has always been after that moment, all you have are photos.
Yeah.
So I have boxes after totes, after totes, after totes
Butthole pictures.
of butthole pictures of all of my exes with a full frontal on the front, on the back.
Rigged up.
Obviously. It's like a portfolio, really.
Yeah.
I don't throw them away.
They're like thumbprints.
They are like thumbprints. Everybody has a very unique butthole. Thomas, grow up and get it together.
Sorry.
But I don't throw away pictures. I don't burn them. They just go in the tote. The same way with my like elementary school 4-H pictures are in the same fucking tote. My middle school photos from my disposable camera from my Washington D.C. trip.
From
Like they're
SeaWorld.
all in the same thing. When I got married and got divorced, I pulled all of my photo album from my wedding, pulled them out. I don't need the fucking album. No offense. They're in a fucking tote. They're just loose pictures in a tote. I don't know. My kids will probably never want them.
They will.
I got my parents' divorce wedding photos. I was like, thanks, Grandma.
You'll appreciate it one day.
Sure. They're in the same fucking tote. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're
the
all
toad of shame.
the tote of shame. Getting rid of things that make you miss them. So there's a difference, though. When I got into a serious relationship this time and had to, this one hit a little different. I sold my house, got a divorce, moved in. I had wedding shit. That was new. I had wedding pictures. I had wedding cake cutters. You're like, yes, no, I'm familiar. Cake cutters,
Glasses.
wine flutes, all of that shit that I didn't know what to do with and
You put
didn't.
it in a tote for your children.
It's all in a tote.
It's for your
And I had to
children.
tell my husband,
That's for
my
your children.
current husband, they may never want it, but if they do, I don't want. What do I say? I
It's
fucking
their
pitched
history.
it.
It's their history.
I pitched it. What am I supposed to like? That seems shitty.
It is
I don't
shitty.
hate their. I don't hate their dad.
Listen, man. There's no right way or wrong way.
There's
technically,
not.
But
There's
I will say
not.
this. It didn't help me.
No,
Fuck no.
it's
Fuck
step
no.
2, Thomas. Step 2.
Let's see what 3 is.
I know. So here's what I will say. What they're saying here is eliminate the things that are connected with your ex. So if you have pictures, if you have shampoo, if you have cologne that your ex bought you that like that
Yeah.
smell like
If it's fucking you up that
yeah,
bad,
if it's
cool.
fucking you up, get rid of it. It will not necessarily be a say all be all. But if it's a factor, eliminate the factor.
Yeah.
That is true. I have told people that regularly.
Yeah.
Number 3 is it's okay to cry. And I
No,
tell
no,
people
it's
this,
not.
we've already said it. You will not be the first one or the last one to cry. Thomas, if you cry today, you will be the last one because I don't have a client after this.
I'm gonna try not to cry today.
Okay.
Is that where my eyes sweat?
Yes. When the perspiration accumulates on your eyeball and you blink and it falls.
It's weird.
I'm
just kidding. Crying's good.
Everyone has their coping mechanism, and some of them involve crying. And I cannot tell you how many times I have seen clients that are like, why do I still fucking cry? And I'm like, because it's still fucking sad.
'Cause you're a human.
It's okay. I have couples who are working on infidelity from 12 years ago. 12 years ago. 12 years ago. They never dealt with it.
That's 3 presidents ago.
Dead white guys, everybody. 3 presidents ago, 12 years ago. And they buried it for the sake of their family, for the sake of their marriage. And we are now talking 12 years later. And I'm like, are you guys mad? And they're like, yeah. I'm
Still
like,
mad.
Oh, they never acknowledged the fact that they were mad.
Okay.
That's a whole nother discussion. We can talk about like rebuilding trust, but like we're talking about breaking up today. And I still have people on my caseload who broke up with their person in like 2020.
Yeah.
And it still brings them to tears. If I really were to like poke and like lift the lid,
Yeah.
they cry. And they're like, why am I still crying 4 years later? And I was like, because it fucking hurts. That's why.
It's normal.
I don't have to pick at your scab very much.
No. The fact that there's still a scab.
There's still a scab.
It's not a
It's
scar,
okay. It is not. Like, I'm so tired of people being so hard on themselves. So, like, it's okay to cry. Even when you don't cry organically. I have a couple people that are like, every time I hear this song or every time I watch a sad movie, and I'm like, that's legitimately the reason they wrote it that way. Like the entire reason. Thomas, you are a songwriter,
Yes.
correct?
Yes. Wrote a real sad one over the
Yeah.
holidays.
So
Yeah.
you write original music
Yeah.
that is emotionally
Sometimes.
representative of how you're feeling, maybe,
Yes and no.
or other people, I would imagine.
It's just a story. Sometimes it's personal. Sometimes it's not.
Sure. Would it surprise you if people had an emotional reaction to some of your music?
Me? No.
Right.
I've had people say I had a guy walk in front of me after I played a song at a show. Jay was there. And he says, holy fuck, I thought I was sad when I walked in here. Fuck.
I would imagine. So I am an artist in the fact, like I draw, I do a lot of like painting. It like sometimes shit comes out that I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I would imagine music is very much that same way.
Can be.
Can be.
If that's a whole, like, I'm telling you right now, being a songwriter fucks you. So I broke my rule recently and wrote a song that was personal. And because I wrote a whole record that was personal before, and I wish I would have.
Too much?
Not for me.
Right.
Some songs were hard to sing years later because I'm just like, what the dude, I couldn't imagine a banger that I had to sing on
Over
tour.
and over and over and over.
I can't live if living is without you. That's his hit.
No, I know.
Every night
know.
you're out there
Blech.
going,
Oh my God. I would fucking hate. I feel like there would be hatred
Right.
that would.
Until I looked at my bank account,
Accumulate,
I
right,
guess I'd get
sure.
happier.
But like, that's the thing that I hear, that they're like, I don't even care that they've moved on.
Listen,
I
there's
found
certain
peace.
singers I will not listen to right now.
No, but that's what I tell people. Why in the fuck are you listening to that song?
No.
Why are you watching that movie?
No.
I am currently rewatching Grey's Anatomy. Everybody,
Again.
no judgment. Watched it, joined season 5, just ended season 5. Like started originally in 2009 watching.
I've been watching Knight Rider.
We are not the same.
I can't watch stuff.
Well, Andrew, my husband, last night we were laying in bed. I had like the last 5 minutes of episode 24. There was like the season finale. He climbs in bed and I was like, listen, I got to watch this. He rolled over and put the body pillow on his head.
To get away from it.
And I was like, watch this with me. And he turned around and he wasn't shitty, but he was like, babe, I can't have any part in this. I am an empath. I am a feeler. Like, if we're gonna have sex tonight, first of all, can't be any part of that.
Yeah.
You, with your magic brain, watch the death and then have sex. But like, I gotta close that down.
Jesus Christ.
But that's what I mean. That's where we're at in the safety of our bed. You know what I mean? Like
eating sushi,
eating sushi in bed, watching Death, Murder, Kill,
and getting it on.
and then getting it on. We did
A little bit of Monster
but
Jam.
yes, it was fine. He just couldn't have it because he's like, I can't. He's like, I can't. I for sure can't watch that and then go to sleep. Kelly, he's like, do you know
I can't even get a boner.
the Pandora's box that would open for his dreams? Like he cannot do that. But to circle back, it's okay to cry, but be mindful of what makes you cry. If there's things that you own, like number 2, that still trigger you,
maybe just put them up.
I was just going to say, even if you don't get rid of, put them away.
Because listen, throwing a bunch of shit away, you can't get it back.
I can't. I don't throw shit away. I did once, and it actually,
I think once you move on to
me.
another person, like if it's a thing for your kids, that makes sense. If it's somebody who passed away that you're married to, or even not even married to, like whatever, a little different. But if it's just a relationship and, it's hard, man. It's fucking hard. There's no exact rules.
No, there
make
are
it
no
easier
rules.
on yourself. Just hide it. Put it away.
Put it away. I had an ex that
I don't covet a lot of shit.
he painted me something and I pitched it out of anger and he since has passed and that still irks
Fucks
me.
with you.
Still fucks with me.
Really?
Still.
That's funny for you.
I know. I know.
You're weak.
And I don't even know. I'm sorry.
Cut the show, Justin. Fucking over.
I don't even know that I would want it.
This is an imposter.
What bothers me is that I did it originally out of an emotional reaction and didn't took the choice away from me. Yeah. That is what bothers me.
You're weak.
I was weak and I was reactive in that moment. And I'm like, now I would have probably come to the same conclusion, but a very different headspace.
100%.
And that irritates the fuck out of me. Very critical of myself. All right. Number 4 is learn forgiveness.
Most people don't even know what that means.
Could be a whole nother episode for sure.
Yeah. Most people don't even understand what forgiveness is. They really don't.
No. Let's see what it says.
Oh.
It's challenging to forgive somebody who has ended the relationship with you and broken your heart, but you need to understand that the best way to get through it is to forgive for the pain. Before you forgive them, forgive yourself. This is a little mushy, everybody. Just bear with me.
I gotta go.
Before you forgive them, forgive yourself. People mostly blame it on themselves, which I have had. The people who have a difficult time getting over it, it's because they have a lot of introspective shit.
Because everybody fucks up in their own relationship.
But why can't they forgive themselves, Thomas?
Because that would admit guilt. That would admit that they did something wrong.
But they have that. They have the guilt and the shame and all of that. Why can't they forgive themselves?
Because the same reason they can't forgive their dads. The same reason they can't forgive their moms. They don't understand what forgiveness means. It's not because if they forgive themselves, then they figure I'm not condoning it. Well, no shit, but you can still forgive someone, or didn't kill them or not talk to them. I mean, honestly,
I know.
what are your fucking options, you psychopaths?
I know.
I just want to live here and waller in this and be a fucking mess.
I have the same, so I had the same conversation twice today about the faith it or fuck it method. So if you think, I forget the theologist to forgive me, but there's 4 solutions to a problem, right? Change your behavior, change your approach emotionally, have radical acceptance, or just stay miserable. And I gave my one client the imagery of you're walking down this path on your journey, right? And you have a bucket and people are throwing fucking rocks at you. You are absolutely turning around, picking them up and putting it in your fuck it bucket. Your fuck it bucket feels like radical acceptance. The whole it is what it is. People don't bother me, right? But that fuck it bucket is fucking heavy. It's heavy. So that's not radical acceptance. That is the means to an end of staying miserable. Radical acceptance is people are chucking rocks at you and you just keep walking. You just walk anyway.
Or you change your path.
Yeah. You pick a different one. Well, that's one of the other 2. Change your behavior and you move. So like learning forgiveness for yourself and for others doesn't always mean that you say like it is what it is. That's actually really unhealthy.
Listen, most things we were taught are the polar opposite of actually what's the correct thing to do.
Yeah. All the time.
100%.
What was the Appalachian motto? If you can't get over or get on her.
Yeah.
Or something
Best
like that.
best way to get over somebody is to get on top of someone else.
Don't do that, ladies.
Well,
and
you
gentlemen.
can.
You could. Not if you're like
Yeah.
emotionally upset. No.
I mean,
Hard no. Hard no.
well,
Lots of people
okay.
move on in that manner.
I'm in the connections right now of everything you do will fuck you down the road if you don't lay it in there reasonably.
With
Meaning-
intention.
Meaning that, say you throw everything away.
Sure.
Say you get back together.
It happens all the time.
Hey, where's our pictures?
Mm-hmm.
They got thrown away,
Probably in the landfill in
right?
South Philly.
No, Gary, Indiana.
Is that where they all go?
Yes.
Okay.
So, this is what I'm saying. But even who you talk to, like we were joking about fucking somebody else to get
Sure.
over somebody, well, then that could lead to some problems too.
Yeah.
And it will.
It absolutely will.
Always does.
Because if you get back together, what's the first question?
Have you been with anybody?
Absolutely.
You're like, the second you close the door,
10 times out of 10, which is a
which is garbage.
no, can be a mature, responsible question. Before we have unprotected sex, it can be.
You're giving people way too much fucking credit.
I have heard it that way though.
That's rare.
Like
yeah, I understand.
we
That's-
were exclusive. I just had a client that was like, we were exclusive. I ended things. We started things back up. But out of respect for yourself and myself,
Yeah.
like,
right.
do you need to get checked before we engage in unprotected
Well,
sex?
I need to get.
Or do I need to, like, let me do my part, you do your part? Because if we're going to engage, like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be that awkward. It shouldn't be that awkward.
Listen, people are gonna handle that very differently.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
Make peace with the void.
Ooh.
To move on from a long-term relationship is painful. In the search of how to move from a relationship, one must fill the void with something creative and essential. When you're with a person for a long time, their absence will profoundly impact your life. You are bound to feel the void, and it will haunt you if you don't replace it with some sort of activity or newly developed habit.
Yeah.
That's actually very true. I don't like the whole make peace with the void. We're telling you to fill your void. But other sites have said, like, find something expressive. Find your hobbies. Find yourself.
I'm gonna go the complete opposite way.
What?
Stand in solace and fucking accept it for what it is and feel it. Actually feel it. The problem is we avoid fucking everything. So go drink with your friends. Go get high. Go do this, and it distracts you from everything instead of just sitting there and go, what am I feeling? And can I fucking feel it? Now, you can't do that 24 hours a day.
Yeah, you need to sit in your diaper for a minute.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Fill the void. How about feel the void?
Feel it
How about
first.
feel it?
Feel it, then fill it, everybody.
Yeah, fill that void.
That was on another one. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Like, sit in it for a minute. It's uncomfortable as fuck, but
You're
like,
not going to understand
you
it.
have to. You have to.
Yeah. Help me.
Ooh, this one's hard.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. But I read it the opposite. It says speak with loved ones and family. I thought it said quit speaking with loved ones and family.
Do both.
Well, it says, listen, I was scrolling.
Hey, don't talk to your fucking family anymore. If you get a breakup,
Not theirs. I thought it was saying
throw all
the
your
other,
shit away and
the
quit talking to your family.
Other persons.
You probably would be better off.
Thomas. The
Oh.
other persons is what I thought it was saying. Quit
Oh.
talking to their mom.
Dude.
Do you know how many people I have on my caseload right now that still talk to their mother-in-law, their sister-in-law? They're like, I don't care. That's my family. No, they're not. In the divorce, Thomas, who gets the relatives?
Kids, grandparents.
You get your people. The people in which you
Yes.
came from, you get.
Listen.
Whether you want them or not,
Listen.
those are your people.
okay, this is such
Back
a sticky
off.
situation.
Nope.
I knew as soon as you text me that like the hair on the back of my
Nope.
fucking neck stood
Back
up.
off of the people that you do not belong to.
Listen, I get it, but I will say this: that doesn't help with feeling abandoned.
No, it doesn't help. It has nothing to do with you.
I know, but it doesn't help. It's good luck, fuckers.
At
You're
the end of
fucked.
the day,
You're fucked.
at the end of the day, if you have children, like we said, that's already 2.0. If you don't have children, give that up. They're not your people anymore. They're
And-
not.
And it depends on how long it is. But you listen, once things calm down, it could happen.
Nope. I say no.
You say no?
I don't think it's healthy.
Well, it just depends. It's case by case. It doesn't help. If you're
It
trying to
doesn't-
get, if
it
you're,
doesn't help.
hold on.
Right.
If you're struggling getting over someone, it's not going to help.
Right. That's what we're talking about.
And
That's
you're
what I'm
also
saying.
going to put the family in a really awkward.
Very. My ex-husband and I had a very difficult divorce because I wanted one and he did not. That is just the reality of the situation. He could have done what we were doing forever and I had to hurt him and I hated every minute of that.
Yeah.
My in-laws, I miss to this day.
Yeah.
They were part of my life for 15 years.
I feel you.
But they are not my people.
Catch up with
They
them at your
are
kid's birthday.
His.
parties.
They are his
Right.
people. And if they're not his people, they're still not mine.
Yeah.
If they're anybody, they're his.
Yeah. I miss my mother-in-law.
All
His
the
dope.
time. All the time.
Yeah.
His grandparents were phenomenal. His grandma, I do still talk to when I interact with the kids.
Right.
When I
And
handpick,
that's
I give her
normal.
a hug and I text him and say, "How's your grandma?"
My oldest
Not
daughter.
her.
Yeah, my oldest daughter. When I'm at her boys' birthday parties and stuff, and my in-laws, ex-in-laws are
Yeah.
there, we talk. 'Cause we're in
Sure.
a room.
Yeah. That would be weird and rude if
I don't
not.
call them. I don't text them. I
No,
don't.
you have
message them.
kids. Your daughters could. They probably do.
I'll ask them how's your grandma, grandpa's
Sure.
move.
But
you know what
go
I mean?
through the appropriate
'Cause they
channels.
moved, you know what I mean? Like, are they okay? And like,
I have people on my caseload that they're like, "Fuck that. They're my family." And I'm like,
okay. Then stay
no,
with
it's
that
my
person.
job.
Then stay with that
It's
person.
my job to say, like, listen, I hear you and I understand that they're your family and they're your support system,
But they're not.
but they're not comparatively.
most
You
people don't
gotta
even want their
back
own family.
off. You gotta back off.
Right?
You have a family.
And most people don't even want them.
You can find another one.
You know the best way to get over your family? You don't
Find
have
a new
another
one.
one.
Find a new one. But guys,
That's a hard one for people.
I have never ever seen it be beneficial long term. Ever.
It takes a while for it to heal. And then it's good.
You have to end it
Let
and
it
then
heal.
figure that out in some new way. And then you can be amicable and like,
I've been lucky in my life that most people didn't hate me.
yeah, I have a few people who do.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But they're my
like,
ex-husband's family. There's pieces and parts that have a hard time. And that's okay because they don't know my story and they shouldn't have it. They
I've
have
been fortunate.
his.
But I still don't reach out.
No, they have his story. Whose story should they have?
Yeah. Their own. Mind your business.
Yeah. It's
All right.
not my job.
Next. I hate this.
No what ifs.
Ooh.
What romanticizing your relationship is so natural and
I
so
gotta go.
common and so unhelpful. I'm not even going to call it unhealthy. It's unhelpful.
Yeah.
What if we wouldn't have had this fight? What if I wouldn't have done this thing? What if she wouldn't have said this? What if he wouldn't have handled it this way? What if we would have just gotten
Yeah.
what ifs are shit, everybody. None of that happened. And unless you're willing to engage and they're willing to engage, none of that matters.
No. It all goes out the window unless you're sitting in your office.
It says post breakup, it's usual and relative to the entire situation. If it's not relative, why the fuck are you doing that to your brain? I call that your asshole brain.
Yeah.
What ifs are part of your asshole brain.
What ifs and ifs. I said, yeah, and if my aunt had a dick, she'd be my uncle.
My youngest son says, what if blah, blah, or no, he said, what about, he doesn't say what if, he doesn't like he used,
Yeah.
what about blah, blah, blah. What about you gave me water? I'm like, what about I gave you water?
This is getting weird. Are
What-
you a SoundCloud
what
rapper?
if?
This
Right,
feels
what
really
if?
weird.
What about I had ice cream for dinner? And I'm like, first of all, you're 7, use proper grammar. Like, second of all, what if?
You're
Vinny,
like-
what if?
You're like, we have ice cream? Cool.
Right. What about you go to bed and I eat the ice cream? But like, stop playing the what if game. This is so detrimental to your mental space.
Well, I
It does-
will say
it-
a little bit of that helps in self-reflecting, and it helps you not make the same mistakes again. You can touch into a little of these things, but you can't live in them. Is that fair?
Mm. So on some of the other websites, and I don't know if it's on this one. No, it's not on this one. But on some of them, they talked about like kind of going through things and categorizing your behavior, not theirs. These are things that I did well, that I was true to myself, that I held myself accountable for, and that I would like to, these type of behaviors or characteristics I would like to take into my next relationship, because these align with my goals and my values and my morals.
Right.
These are things that I did or that I said that aren't true to me, who I want to be, what I want to move forward being. And whether that's on them or on me or reaction or whatever, that's where what ifs, that doesn't feel like a what if though. That's because of this happened. Because of this, I can now look backwards and say factually, this is when I was proud of who I was in this relationship. And these are parts of myself that I want to work on because they don't align with my value system.
And that's just taking a moment to reflect and move
Yes.
forward, right?
Yes.
And taking some personal
You
responsibility.
had
for your-
accountability in that
Yes.
relationship, whether
Yeah.
it was offense or defense, both were present, guaranteed.
Yeah, and that's for you.
Yeah, that's all
And
for
sometimes
you.
the other person does need to hear, like, I'm sorry, I fucking
You
did
know
that.
what? I was wrong.
Yeah.
For that.
Super healing.
Take it or hear it. Take it or leave it. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I don't need you to accept my apology.
Well, it doesn't hurt
It's helpful.
if it's meaningful.
But an apology.
I've been told, like, hey, I forgive you. And
Sure.
dude, I'm gonna tell you what, they meant it. It wasn't
believe
just
it.
some bullshit. And it
Probably
meant a
'cause
lot
you
to
meant
me.
your
I was
apology.
100% sincere.
Absolutely. I am sorry that I did that to you.
I'm almost to a fault now that I can't even function.
Mm-mm.
This, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in a state now that I'm like this.
I am
it's,
sorry,
It's almost
right, yeah.
too transparent.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm like this.
It's written all over your face.
Yeah.
So the next part starts pivoting. Like, these are all reflective things. The next one is like, know that you're still in love. I have a friend who's going through a very difficult breakup. The stages of grief, right? Like, breakups are grief. Stages of grief. She texts me one day. She's like, I'm so fucking pissed. And I'm like, I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. Next day, she's like, I'm so relieved. I just woke up relieved. Is that weird? And I'm like, no, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
But I texted her and I was like, I, as your best friend in the world, had to pause and say, God, this must be hard because 24 hours ago, you were in love with him.
Yeah.
24 hours ago, he would have asked you to marry him and you would have said yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's hard.
And here we are. And
Yeah.
your whole world
Yeah.
was turned upside down.
Completely
And now
bananas.
you don't know if you're coming or going. Like, it was that blindsiding.
Right.
Like,
He probably doesn't even know how to find another guy to get on top of that quick.
no, where do you even look?
I mean, the internet's pretty close.
Oh, and she's cute. She could probably just go to the local dive bar.
She could probably just walk and get gas.
But know that you're still in love. Like, that's what makes it difficult to move over somebody. If there's like not significant deep feelings involved, we've all gotten over like flings. Something casual. Everybody.
A
Thomas,
What? A what?
a fling.
Hmm.
You have. Those are not the doozies, everybody. The people that you're caught up on, probably because you had feelings for them. Then it talks about getting in touch with old friends, making new friends, starting to love yourself, do more that makes you happy. Like, these are all focused on rebuilding you.
I love it.
What?
We're so stupid.
Why are we so stupid?
Because the whole thing is like a relationship's so important, and then you read this and it's like, by the way, a relationship makes you literally lose yourself completely.
Yes,
it sounds
does.
so healthy, everyone. So just run out and make a huge deal of your relationship so you can literally dismantle it and find yourself. You're not allowed to have yourself when you're fucking in a relationship.
Thomas.
I'm calling bullshit. See this? Broken heart? Yeah, that's what you get, motherfuckers. Constantly. Good luck. Think about that. That makes no fucking sense. That breaks my fucking heart. Because that's like, hey, you're not your own person. Oh my God, you're not you.
In unhealthy relationships,
This
often
isn't even really talking about that, though. This is just
They
saying
broke
a
up.
breakup. That doesn't make it unhealthy.
sometimes it is.
Sometimes he had to leave. Sometimes they had to do something. Sometimes he got caught.
because it was unhealthy, Thomas.
I'm joking. But I'm saying, but listen to how that,
I know.
that
I
does
know.
not come across good.
They're saying so. All of these things, I guess, from my perspective, all of these things that we talk about, they're chicken and the egg, right? Like, know yourself. How many times have we said, be a healthy person before you throw yourself in the dating pool? That's shitty. To throw yourself out there in the first place, you have no business being out there.
Don't invite people in your car if it's not safe.
Right. If you don't even have fucking seatbelts,
Well,
no.
ish.
So this is saying, I would assume the people on my caseload already have at least the self-awareness to say, like,
To be where you're at. Yeah, you're already ahead.
something did not go well. And we can reflect. And oftentimes I have the conversations that I'm like, okay, where did we go wrong? What parts of yourself were you true to? What parts of yourself weren't? Also, often people that I have on my caseload are in their 20s or their 30s. They are still growing as humans.
Yeah, they're not even whole ass humans yet.
Yes. So
mean,
like
they are,
what
but they're not.
yeah, but what is important to you?
Their
Was
roots are.
this relationship reflective of where you are now or where you were?
People live looking in the rearview mirror.
All the time.
That's all they do.
All the time. So like in those ways, I think that some of these things like refocus on yourself, focus on your friends, lean into your natural support systems, the people who are going to be your cheerleaders, and say, you got this. There's somebody out there for you. You are a whole ass person.
And you got to be careful with that too.
Absolutely. You don't need or want bullshit ass cheerleaders who are going to be like, he's stupid. Why did you ever do that? Like that's
Do you wanna
a
hear my
backhanded
Here's my
compliment.
tism. I dated a girl once and broke up with her, and somebody that I knew was like, "Oh my God, that girl fucking blah blah blah." I go, "So you've been lying to me this whole time?
This entire time?
You've been faking it?"
So you didn't like her.
That tells me more about my fucking friend.
It should.
I mean, ex-friend.
It should. Absolutely, it should. But it does. It goes into self-care. And there is a part of me clinically that's like, let's make sure that the end of your relationship, you are being true to yourself before you invite somebody else in. Like, let's recenter, make sure that you are still who you think you are. You know who you are before you throw you back in to the pool. But also take care of yourself. Have some grace for yourself. Engage with the people, your natural support system.
And you're allowed to do that when you're in a relationship too.
You should have been the entire time. And by all means, please don't do this temporarily until you engage in a new one.
That's what happens most of the time.
Get in touch with old friends. And I'll tell you, as the old friend, there is nothing more annoying than when somebody comes out of the woodwork and you're like, oh, hey. And they're like, I broke up with somebody. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Happens all the time.
All the time. I just went to lunch with somebody. You know what? I loved the fuck out of her and I missed her.
But you don't get her when she's dating. That's okay. I got friends like that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
She cried at brunch and I hugged her because like I could see
I'd
that
cry
she
at
was
brunch,
in
too. That sounds
pain.
like a
Like
stupid thing.
she was
Pick
hurting.
one, lunch or breakfast.
Well, it was 10 a.m. That's breakfast.
Yeah.
I woke up at 9:15. Let's see. Do more of what makes you happy. That's all. Like all of these things kind of clump together. And the last couple are like, take professional help, join a support group.
Yeah.
Lean on.
Group. That's dude.
I have quite a few people anymore that ask about support groups, and I have very
it's the
mixed
best thing
feelings
ever.
about them.
You do?
I do. Support groups are often.
It depends on the situation.
So
Listen, if you lose a child, go to a support group. You lose a fucking mate,
I
go to
still
a
have a
support
hard
group.
time. So here's my clinical opinion. There's a difference between group therapy and a support group.
Okay.
The leader,
Okay.
the
Tell me
like
more.
the person who organizes it and leads it.
Yeah.
A support group, A, is not billable. And so there is not a clinical professional with a license attached to it.
Isn't there normally a person there that's running it like that? Not always.
There is a person who is running it
this is
that's
kinda
not
like
a
church.
licensed clinical
It could
professional.
go a lot of different ways.
It could go a lot of different ways.
So yeah, I've never
So
broke it down to that.
That's I have people who ask me all the time, like, there are so many resources, and I'm like, there are. And I'm never, ever going to deter you from one or the other. I want you to understand the difference, though. Because if you're in a group therapy session,
Yeah.
there's a clinical professional there that should be mediating or moderating the topics to make sure that you're not triggered, oversharing.
That's a very good point.
They have the greater your
So
mental health in mind.
if you're in a support group that doesn't have a mediator that's a professional, that could be very
Dangerous.
I've never thought. I would just assume.
I know,
and
right?
I shouldn't assume, but I just kind of assumed they had a person running it.
Most.
Okay.
There is some space to make assumptions there, but there's a lot of people who have never experienced any sort of group setting whatsoever. And I would hate for people to go into it assuming that there's structure and control and accountability and then be triggered like hell.
Or be preyed on.
Yes. And you're sharing, now I'm going to take your story and I'm going to make it my story. And it turns into this big rabbit hole. And at 45 minutes, they're like, okay, time to go. And then you come back to me and you're like,
I feel like that'd be a place for predators too.
absolutely.
Yeah. So if you are going to go to a
Look at who it should be
Yeah.
listed. It should be listed.
100%.
Support groups, group therapy, big difference. The verbiage is a telltale sign
okay.
because support groups cannot say they're group therapy. If they're not billing your insurance, I would ask. Lots of people do it voluntarily. I have volunteered to lead group therapy.
I'm sure it's huge.
It's huge.
Nothing means more than talking to people that have experienced the same thing
Right.
as you.
There is so much benefit in that. But
I've seen
I
it.
just worry. As a clinician, I just
Huge.
worry
No, it's huge.
that if you don't have a lot of experience,
Yeah.
keep in mind what the verbiage is and what the minute difference is. Because at the end of the day, that minute difference could be monumental.
Life-changing.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
turn you off to the whole experience.
All right, people. So if you broke up with somebody or they broke up with you, it's not going to be an easy road.
No.
And it's going to be what works with you in your own timeline. And everybody's timeline is going to be very different. I know my own personal experiences. It went many different ways.
Mhm.
Some are
Same.
harder than others.
Mhm.
But it doesn't mean there's not light at the end of the tunnel and you can't enjoy your life even though you're going through a rough patch. Your life should be pretty solid no matter who's next to you.
It should.
But you're allowed to
Ideally.
be sad.
Yeah.
I allow myself to be sad now.
Took you a while.
Yeah. And I don't let it linger too hard, but I have, like, last week was a rough week, and
Yeah.
not because of Valentine's Day, it's just heavy, and I don't want to, I still want to be a good person to the people around me. I still want to be kind. I still want to be productive, but I couldn't put a timeline on stuff,
I think it's mean.
and I've tried some stuff to try to, I don't know. And then you question things, though. You're like, well, why am I feeling this way? Because it was that important in my life, or it was that. Well, yeah, it was.
That's okay.
But it's still accepting it. You got to
Yeah,
kind of just take
it's-
it and go, this is the fuck, this is our
Yep,
plight,
Stop beating yourself up. You let your
Yeah.
walls down. And sometimes the further you let them down, the harder they are to build them up. And then you have other people who are in the background saying, why isn't it taking? Like those pick.
There's a lot of predators, man.
They pick at your
Oof.
wall. And that's so shitty. And not everybody means it that way.
They don't even know they're doing it sometimes.
No. How are you? I saw you took down these pictures. I saw that you're not with this person. And like all of those things are just throwing fucking pebbles at your brand new wall that's not even set yet. Like,
No, it's like on toothpicks.
and they don't mean it, but like,
Be brutal with people.
say, I'm fucking struggling.
And there's
No, I don't need your help.
What
I
can
don't
you
need
do?
you to bring me dinner. I don't want to get
Dude.
together with you.
Ugh. Dude, when somebody that doesn't even know you is like, hey, if you need anything, like, what do you, like, when people say that to me, I'm like, I sit with a therapist every week.
Right.
I have therapists on my show. Like, Have you lost your fucking mind?
My husband says that to me sometimes. And I'm like, if there was something that I needed your, and like, bless his heart, he means it when he says, like, I called him today and he
Bless
was like,
your
is there
heart.
anything that I can help you with that would make you less irritable? And I was like, no.
Yeah, not saying that.
No. And he was like, I'll be home around 8 or 9. And I was like, I'm going to let you go because that made it worse. He was like, okay.
Yeah, he knew.
But no, if I don't talk to you on a regular basis, and I probably similar to you, if I knew that I needed something, I would ask for it by like the 1 or 2 people that I knew could fill the void. Like,
Or give you, not co-sign your bullshit.
nope, I want to be held accountable. But
So if you're going through it,
it's hard.
get some help. Read
Give yourself some
books.
grace. There's
But
a
also
billion
this.
books.
Start
Come on.
off with a good base. I'm going to imagine that healing from this is easier if you already are a healthy human.
I have people on my caseload that I'm like, if your partner left you, where would you be? If that
What if they died?
question brings you to tears, obviously your relationship means something to you, but like you have work to do. That means you have I would even say a mildly unhealthy connection because like life goes on.
You mean if the thought of losing that person brings
Yes.
them immediate tears?
Immediate,
That's not.
hyperventilating,
Hmm.
infidelity is the main one. And so what if they did? I have jealousy. So what if they did cheat? Then what?
What do you do?
Instant tears. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like
So when somebody has a reaction like that,
we have some work to do with
oh,
boundaries.
Fuck.
You would be just fine. You would keep living. They would live. You
People
would
lose their
live.
children and still have to live. I'm not
You-
being an asshole, but
I
like,
know, but like
I can't think of anything more painful than that.
This is why I'm becoming a little more firm in my thresholds because I'm watching Grey's Anatomy every single day where I'm like, there are real, not that these aren't real issues, but there are big things of people who are fighting for their life every single day and losing, and their loved ones are torn apart. And you, at the thought of your boyfriend leaving you,
Cheating on you.
are at tears. Queen, like, let's go. Like, you'd be fine. You would be fine. You would find somebody else. Let's be honest. You're 37 years old. The likelihood that you're going to live the next 60 years by yourself,
What if she has a barren womb?
then grieve your never baby. Like, that's a thing.
Justin said even better.
We can talk about your barren womb.
What if you lost your small king? This does not apply to losing a small king because you
This
can't
does not.
recover.
You can't. You can't.
That's next
What's the
level.
equivalent to a small king? The feminine
A
version.
giant queen,
An Amazon beast.
a Viking woman.
A Viking woman.
All right, be nice to each other. Be
All
nice to
right,
yourself.
guys.
How about I'm gonna say that?
Yes.
Fucking be nice to yourself.
Yes. And be nice. You know what? I'm going to say be nice to your ex. Be nice about your ex. There's a reason that you laid in their bed. If you are torn up about it, it's because at some point in some way they had characteristics or attributes that you enjoyed about them, and like simmer down with the shit talking. And
I know,
that like
right. We are trying to wrap this up, but I was looking through some
Sorry.
other resources today before you got here, and one of them said, "Don't forget why you love them."
don't forget why you're sad in the first place.
Yeah, don't forget why you love them. It's okay. It's okay to go, man, that was a good person, but I'm not with them anymore. It's like having a car that gets wrecked. It doesn't make it less of a car. You just don't have it anymore.
Correct.
So, all right. So get a better car, get a better boyfriend. Call the hotline. Actually, don't call unless you want to leave a crazy message. 234 200 5949. If you have anything you want to talk about, tell us about how you got over your breakup.
I would love to hear some crazy breakup stories.
Yeah.
What'd you do before you worked on getting over them?
Oof.
Dum dum dum.
Yeah.
Step 1,
Probably wreaked havoc. Put
pour
your-
flour
put
in
your
their
fucking hoe
gasoline
shoes back
tank. Step 2, cry.
Yeah. Get on Tinder. Right. Jesus, man. Get
All
better.
right, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Fuck.
Bye.